Response video to the modern mystic. Often just being a cranky guy. So anyway, he's making this subjective suffering argument, and he's, in my opinion, just not getting that there's two versions of subjective and objective, and that people are just interchanging them, and they're doing it to their convenience. Okay, so there's this idea of a subject and an object, and then there's this idea of something that is tainted by a subjective personal bias, like it's subject to interpretation, like chocolate ice cream is better than vanilla ice cream. You know, and they're basically trying to say that suffering is like chocolate and vanilla ice cream, okay? Like pain and pleasure are things that we could argue about what they mean. Like pain is really fun and pleasure is really horrible, or some kind of crap like that. So as soon as you interject the word subjective, they use it to say, oh, you're just having you've just misinterpreted chocolate ice cream. You know, you're just making it up. You're just opining on chocolate ice cream. They've turned everything into some kind of idiotic, I rubbed up against it and got an impression, rather than let's sit there and take the world in, take the facts in, and describe reality. So if this was a trial, there's a difference between evidence, right? There's hard evidence, and then there's hearsay evidence, right? You could say. And that's the problem. You want to have something called that hard kind of evidence, not the circumstantial kind of evidence. And they want to turn everything into circumstantial evidence, meaning that, oh, that's only subject to your interpretation and therefore I can ignore it. You know, that kind of crap. And you should know that by now. And so, well, anyway, so he's just basically saying, okay, there's one subject who's having fun torturing 100 subjects who are being tortured. And well, why don't we just get everybody's opinion? Everybody will agree that it's stupid for one guy to have fun harming 100 people, blah, 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 and everybody will agree and it'll be fine. Well, that's not what happens, because there's a bunch of people saying, I don't want to account for the suffering, because they're basically, the guy torturing is their friend, or is their politics, or is their agenda, and they want to rationalize an excuse for the 100 victims. So they'll just make the victims go away by saying they're just subjectively thinking they're eating chocolate ice cream when they're really eating vanilla, and they really are confused, and they don't know what they're feeling, blah, 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 blah. And I'll play the ending of this video, then I'll just repeat myself again.
Why do we need more? Why does the argument need more? Why would people need more?
Okay, I'll say it again another way, just to say again back to the trial example. Because he also implied that I'm doing this in defense of antinatalism. No, I have this problem in defense of animal rights. I have this problem in defense of almost every philosophical position, because anybody who loses an argument always bails to the subjective crap. They always bail to the, well, that's just your opinion. They always run away from evidence. And if they can taint evidence by claiming that's not a valid thing, that only happens 999 million times out of a billion. You know, bullshit. That's not an absolute truth. Okay, they just use these outs. And so you have to establish the existence of philosophy's purpose in the first place, even as a principle. So that's another argument I'd make. That in principle, I'm not doing what you people are doing. I'm not looking for mob rule or a bunch of people to agree with me. I'm basically saying philosophy is science. The idea is to come up with the perfect sentences describing the absolute reality of the circumstance. That's my ambition. I want to know the truth. I don't want to know some subjective crap. I don't want to know some conditional crap. I want to know the fucking truth. I can handle it, and I want it. And I want to have a conversation about the fucking truth and the best theories of truth people can contrive or make up or do any of that shit. So yeah, I want a truth competition, not an evasion competition.
Does the antinatalist argument need more than just
any argument needs more, because there's 9 million. I don't know, I guess you nihilists don't even understand that there's a bunch of nihilists out there, okay? So all you nihilists who think your ethics are, well, everybody agrees with me anyway, so it's okay to be a nihilist or something. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking. But the point is yeah, there's a ton of people out there who are just using the fact that they can say human beings are completely insane and don't know what the fuck's going on, and they don't know that having a 10-ton weight on their foot causing intense pain is really a good thing. They don't really understand. They don't understand that. Yeah, that's the problem, Nick. It's out there. Everything's an argument about vanilla or chocolate ice cream being the best, and that every argument is turned into some sort of inconsequential crap. Like it doesn't matter because suffering isn't real. You haven't noticed that?
Subjective testimony. And if so, why? I just don't quite understand why it needs more.
Because people keep evading the truth, that's why.
In other words, when you get these people arguing and saying, well, that's only subjective, it's only subjective, why can't you say, well, yes, and that's enough, isn't it?
No, it isn't enough. A stupid, idiotic human opinion. Frankly, if somebody walked up to me and said, it's a human's opinion, that wouldn't mean much to me either, okay? So, yeah, it's got to be more than just a human's opinion. It has to be something called logical and rational and reasonable. Because most human beings, I don't know whether you notice this, I'm being a little bit mocking, aren't reasonable. Their theories are completely unreasonable. Okay, there's no logical continuity. They're completely duplicitous and entirely hypocritical. That's the description of the average human being. So to say, hey, we agree, well, that sometimes makes you look bad. If humans agree with you, wow, you might be getting it wrong, because most humans are lying scum.
That's what I'm asking. Why is subjective testimony not enough?
Because people will say that subjective testimony is just conditioned emotional testimony, and therefore it has no meaning. It's just bigotry. It's just a personal bigotry. They'll say that I have a personal bigotry to think that suffering is bad. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say, it's just your personal bigotry against rape. To think that the woman's not having a good time. She might be having a very good time. She just doesn't know what universe she exists in. The upside down universe. It's that kind of crap. Okay, so, yes, I'm saying, I'm describing, and like again, I'm just saying, I would have found this intolerable in any discussion of any subject, to sit there and pretend that we're doing something other than describing reality. So that's part of this whole subjective-objective argument, is that people want to just say there is no reality, we make it up. Okay? We make up our own purpose. You haven't heard that crap out there? We get to just make it up. We get to make up whether we're functional, whether we're running a profit. Okay? We don't have to think cash matters, relating it to our conversation. Like there isn't something at the bottom of all of this thing that actually means something. Well, that's the fucking problem. I'm saying there is something at the bottom of all this crap, that there is an absolute fact to the goddamn universe. If I made a super duper intelligence that knew everything, he would have an opinion that would actually be the truth. And that's the opinion we're looking for. We're trying to be as smart as we possibly can, okay, and know the truth. The truth. Not crap, not made up shit, not, humans making their own truth. No, the truth. And I think the truth has something to do with the fact that Yes, you have to start with some kind of round wheel premises, or there's just no point in making these cars. There's no point in doing anything if nobody has to obey the laws of physics. Then what the fuck's the point? We might as well just shoot each other in the fucking head because it's an idiotic conversation to have. These fuckheads don't want to exist in reality, they don't want to exist in the real world, and yet they want to exploit the motherfuck out of things that are actually valuable because they want to just pretend they're not valuable. You just don't understand how that's what's going on planet Earth. People are running huge deficits and they want to pretend borrowing is good for the economy. It's good for us all. Let's all get in huge debt because it's hugely productive. You can't see how that's fucking happening here? Well, the same exact things in the economy, well, the same fucking thing is happening in the real world. People think lazy is good. It's highly productive. It makes lots of things happen. They're turning the world upside down because, yes, they want to lie on their ass and pretend everything's going to be all right. That the future poor people are going to save us. Yeah, so don't ask me why. I think you know, come on. A little bit of analysis and you can figure out why I'm pissed off and why I'm saying I'm not going to have conversations premised on the fact that you're automatically wrong because you're a subject. Yeah, well, fuck that. No, you're automatically stupid and evasive. Not you, Nick, but anybody who's claiming subjectivity as an out. And fuck intersubjective agreement. Would you really want to convict somebody of murder by intersubjective agreement? Or would you want to do it with something called evidence? Yeah, I say let's have an argument about what the evidence indicates. And they just keep jumping away from what the evidence indicates to say all evidence is chocolate ice cream. Well, I can't have a conversation with people that are going to do that. I'm shoving the ice cream in their eyeball until they're dead. So, whatever. Till next time.